Anyone who watched the last press conference understood our head coach Brian Schottenheimer's expression wasn't that of someone worried about a defense that finished 2025 at rock bottom. It was the smile of someone who has an ace up his sleeve, or perhaps a contract already signed and in the drawer. The search for a new defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys is heating up, but the atmosphere behind the scenes is strangely calm. Why is Schotty so confident while the fans are still trying to process the disaster of the Eberflus era? The theory circulating in the corridors of the Star is that the management has already made its decision, and the name leading all the bets isn't just a favorite, it's someone who seems to be protected by the franchise's silence. We're talking about a strategy that could put the Dallas team a step ahead of the entire NFL. While other teams are still struggling, the Cowboys seem to be assembling a young and lethal army. What if I told you that the interviews we're seeing now aren't for the top job? What if the real plan is much bigger than just replacing a piece on the board? Prepare yourselves, because what we're about to reveal today could completely change your perspective on the future of our defense. After all, the Dallas Cowboys aren't just looking for a coach, they're looking for a new identity. Stay tuned, because the mystery behind Schottenheimer's smile is beginning to unravel now. And the answer may lie in a name you know very well. The first major clue to this change in attitude lies in the profile of the candidates. Forget the archaeological excavations that Jerry Jones used to do in search of names from the past. This time, the Cowboys didn't go to the Grand Canyon looking for T-Rex footprints. They opened the shiniest, newest box on the NFL shelf, focusing on young, innovative minds. Names like Zach Orr, just 33 years old, and Christian Parker, 34, show that the mentality in Dallas has changed. The Dallas Cowboys finally understood that modern American football demands energy and constant updating. Brian Schottenheimer is leading this search with a clear criterion: communication and simplicity. He wants someone who can take the complex and transform it into something lethal on the field. This broad network of interviews with professionals in their 30s and 40s is unprecedented in the franchise's recent history. It marks the end of the era of fossil coordinators who could no longer adapt to the current pace of the game. But amidst so many promising names, one shines with a different intensity. Someone who has already proven their worth and has a direct connection with our head coach. Is this young list merely a smokescreen for the real chosen one? Or are we truly witnessing the construction of an elite coaching staff? Let's talk about the name on every fan's lips: Jim Leonhard. The current Broncos passing coordinator is, without a doubt, the absolute favorite to take over the defensive duties in Dallas. Leonhard isn't just a brilliant former player, he's a tactical mastermind who transformed Denver's secondary into one of the best in the league. And his connection with Schottenheimer goes back a long way, to their time with the New York Jets. The context is clear. The Cowboys interviewed Leonhard early in the search. But since then, the silence regarding his next steps has been deafening. Why hasn't he been announced yet? The answer may lie in the Denver Broncos' success in the playoffs. As long as Leonhard is focused on winning the Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys are legally obligated to wait before finalizing any agreement. But here's the point nobody's noticed. The other interviews still taking place in Frisco might not be for the coordinator position. The call to action now is for you. Do you think Leonhard is already our guy? If you believe he's the missing piece, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We need to be united in this hope that the announcement comes soon after the Broncos' journey ends. The mystery continues, but the pieces of the puzzle are beginning to fit together perfectly under Brian Schottenheimer's direction. To understand why the search is so urgent, we need to look at the scars of 2025. The numbers don't lie. We were the worst defense in the NFL in points allowed, a frightening average of 30.1 per game. Dak Prescott and the offense did their best, but no arm can withstand a defense that allows 377 yards per game. It was a systemic collapse that cost Matt Eberflus his season and his job. But the story here changes when we look at what Jim Leonhard did in Denver. He helped lead that secondary to the top, finishing as the second best defensive unit in the league in 2025. Imagine Patrick Surtain shining under Leonhard's command. Now imagine what he could do with Daron Bland and our secondary. It's a blend of raw talent and refined tactical intelligence. The Dallas Cowboys don't just want to improve, they want to dominate. And the data shows that Dallas's weakness, the opponent's passing game, is precisely the specialty of the candidates Schotty is bringing into the conversation. Each interview with figures like Durante Jones or Ephraim Banda serves to gather information and possibly assemble a super staff around Leonhard. They are mining intelligence on their rivals. The strategy is clear: surround the new coordinator with the best specialists in each sector. Dallas is stopping hiring names and starting to hire successful systems. Imagine the scene. The floodlights at AT&T Stadium are off, but the boardrooms at the Star are buzzing until the wee hours. Schottenheimer, Jerry, and Stephen Jones are analyzing every cinematic detail of these young coaches' careers. Each replay of a successful raid or a perfectly executed zone cover is dissected as if it were the script of a thriller. The pace of the interview suggests that Dallas is looking for something more than just a replacement. What if the interviews with Christian Parker and DeMarcus Covington are actually auditions for elite assistant coaching positions? The plan might be to give Jim Leonhard the best supporting cast in the NFL. The narrative that is emerging is one of total reconstruction. We see dramatic close-ups of the turnover statistics that disappeared last year and the promise that the fire will return to the eyes of our defenders. Every move seems calculated to generate a chain reaction. If Leonhard is to direct this film, he will need experts in defensive and secondary lines who speak the same modern language. The fans are divided, but their hearts beat in unison with the hope of an aggressive defense. The suspense over who will be chosen only increases the hype for the 2026 season, but beware, overconfidence can be a trap. The Dallas Cowboys have been in this position before and failed to execute. Will the script have a happy ending this time? Of course, in Dallas, nothing happens without a dose of controversy and behind-the-scenes drama. The fact that Schottenheimer is leading the search is a radical shift in the Jones family's power hierarchy. In the locker room, the atmosphere is one of anticipation. Players like Micah Parsons watch intently, knowing that the next coordinator could be responsible for taking them to Hall of Fame level or leaving them stagnant. The big question is, will Jerry Jones be able to stay out of it and let Schotty do his job? Jerry's track record tells us he loves redemptions, which is why names like DeMarcus Covington are still on the radar. There is a real risk that the Denver Broncos will decide to promote Leonhard if Vance Joseph leaves to become head coach elsewhere. If that happens, Dallas's plan A implodes in seconds. The frustration of losing their main target would be a hard blow for a fan base already at its limit of patience. The human element here is the anxiety of those who can no longer bear to see the Dallas team become the butt of defensive jokes. Behind the scenes, it is reported that communication between Schottenheimer and Leonhard is constant, but nothing can be officially confirmed. It's a dangerous game of chess where time is the greatest enemy. Meanwhile, Dallas's high school basketball program awaits a coach who knows how to utilize the talent of Daron Bland, who is recovering from complicated surgeries, and transform promises into reality. While the strategy of seeking young talent brings a necessary freshness, the lack of experience as a lead coordinator in the NFL for many candidates remains a question mark. Brian Schottenheimer is betting big on his ability to mentor and integrate this new defense into his offensive system. It's a tactical all-in that could define his legacy as head coach of the Cowboys. In my analysis, Jim Leonhard is the right name at the right time. He brings the modernity of Denver and the knowledge of someone who has been on the battlefield as a player. It's the balance between theory and practice. Preparation for 2026 begins now in these interview rooms. What is decided in these weeks will resonate in every tackle and every interception at AT&T Stadium in September. The Dallas Cowboys are on the right track in expanding their network, but they need to be surgical in their final pick. There's no more room for mistakes or friendly bets. Now I want to know from you, Cowboys Nation, do you think Jim Leonhard is already signed and just waiting for the announcement? Or could Jerry Jones still surprise us with a name out of the blue? Leave your opinion in the comments below, like the video if you believe this defense will return to its elite level, and of course, subscribe to the channel to experience this journey with me, game by game. This is Renan, and we'll see you in the next update.